This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Hello, thank you for tuning into Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. A very special happy Mashramani to you from the Kaieteur Radio team. I am Kevin Smith.
And I am Kayla King.
This is your news at noon. These are the top stories we're tracking. MPs open budget debates with insults and vulgarity. One showcases vibrating dildo to make point. Wall Street Bank predict oil will meet $100 a barrel after COVID-19, and David Patterson plugs motion requiring EPA to take action on Exxon's flaring. Meanwhile, suspect surrenders after killing cousin during birthday bash, and body in septic tank. Man confesses to killing and dumping roommate. Said it was because he slept with his wife. Stay tuned.
Digicel Prime Bundles just got better with 3 new apps. Watch more with PlayGo. Share more with Sportsmax. Read more news with Loop. Listen more with D-Music. Plus extra data. It's simply more bundled together. 51 gigabytes for 7 days for only $2,000. Live the experience with Digicel. Activate today on the My Digicel app.
And now for the news in detail. Senior Minister in the Office of the President with the responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh recently presented to the National Assembly and by extension the country the largest budget it has ever seen. Kaieteur witnessed in the dome of the Arthur Chung Conference Center yesterday was the hurling of racist, homophobic and sexist insults from one member of parliament to the other. Later government MP Dr. Vishwa Mahadio indicated to the Assembly that in 2017 the Rehabilitation Department under the former administration requested an apparatus named a medical chest vibrator, but instead bought it was at this time that Dr. Mahadio displayed a vibrating dildo. It is unclear, however, how and where the former coalition government sourced this device, since the law of Guyana prohibit the importation of sex toys. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur news.
In other news, 2 Wall Street banks, JP Morgan Chase and Goldman Sachs, are predicting that the price of oil will soar when COVID-19 cases ease, according to a report from the Financial Post. Goldman Sachs analyst Jeffrey Curry reportedly registered his belief that there are real risks that oil will trade in the $80 range or even higher this year. Arjun Murthy, another expert who had worked with Curry when predicting a previous oil price high, said the projections of a supercycle are premature, but that he can imagine scenarios where oil prices strengthen significantly, according to the Post.
And now let's tell you, Shadow Oil and Gas Minister and AFC Member of Parliament David Patterson yesterday filed a motion with the National Assembly which would require the EPA to take action to curb Exxon Mobil's flaring. The motion is being seconded by AFC MP Cathy Hughes, who is also expected to operate in Parliament with an oil and gas portfolio. Exxon Mobil has been flaring since late January at a rate of 16 to 18 million cubic feet per day. The company has sent defective equipment to Germany for repairs and expects reinstatement in about 8 weeks. It also had placed an order for a new gas compressor and expects it to arrive closer to the end of the year.
And moving on, police have arrested a man who reportedly murdered his cousin during a family dispute Sunday night. Dead is 25-year-old Riaz Mohammed, a fisherman of West Bank, Berbice. The act was allegedly committed by his 26-year-old cousin, Rocky Harper. He was reportedly armed with a knife. The incident is said to have taken place sometime around 18 hours 30. Police reports are that the cousins, along with other relatives, and were consuming alcohol when the deceased started using foul language against his father and in the process started to hit him several times.
In other news, after he returned from a hangout with friends, 32-year-old Colin Anthony was beaten to death at his Bell West, West Bank Demerara home on Tuesday last with a piece of iron and then dumped into a septic tank. At least this is what his 28-year-old roommate Fazal Mohammed Ibrahim of Hurstelling gave detectives yesterday. Cops nabbed Ibrahim on Sunday at Grove, East Bank Demerara, while he was sitting as a passenger in a minibus. Ibrahim and Anthony were friends for several years and were living together for some time now at Bell West. In his confession, Ibrahim said that he murdered Anthony for having an intimate relationship with his wife.
It is now 12 hours 7 in Guyana. Coming up after the break, non-functioning ERC received over $500 million during 2011 to 2018. Police sergeant remanded for shooting wife and father sent to jail for harboring Mazaruni prison escapees. Meanwhile, CCTV footage shows man being set alight at supermarket. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. Several discrepancies within the Ethnic Relations Commission have been uncovered following independent research by Kaieteur, and the most recent finding pinpoints that it received over $500 million in budgetary allocations while being inoperable for 7 years. The ERC was established on March 8, 2002, aiming to promote ethnic harmony and security in Guyana. Despite being inoperable from 2011 to 2018, budget estimates reveal that the Commission would have received $504 million in those 7 years, leaving two significant questions. What was the money spent on? And who presided over the spending?
And now let's tell you Colin White, a police sergeant, yesterday made his initial appearance at the Blairmont Magistrates Court to answer to the charge of attempted murder. He appeared before Magistrate Peter Hugh and was charged with an attempt to commit murder on Shanetta James. He was not required to plea and was remanded to prison until March 2nd. Initial reports are that the shooting occurred at Onderneming, West Coast Berbice. White had discharged a round in her direction, hitting her to the neck. After realizing what he had done, he rushed the woman to the Fort Wellington Hospital and left.
And now let's tell you the father of one of the Mazaruni escapees yesterday made his first court appearance and was remanded to prison for harboring the 4 high-profile escapees. The defendant, 60-year-old Ralph Jones, a boat captain of Bartica, appeared at the Vredenhoop Magistrates Court before Magistrate Crystal Lambert. The charges allege that he harbored 25-year-old Imram Ramsewak, 44-year-old Kenrick Light, 36-year-old Samuel Kavaya, and 28-year-old Rayon Jones. The Joint Service is encouraging all law-abiding citizens to report to the nearest police station or call 455-2238, 455-2222, or 911 should they be seen. All information will be treated with strict confidence.
The Guyana Police Force is currently investigating the death of an unidentified man who was set on fire by another man early yesterday in the compound of the Wazin supermarket located at BZ and Moore, East Coast Demerara. The incident was captured on CCTV camera. The body, which was clad in a short multicolored pants and a gray jersey, was discovered lying on the ground. The unidentified man of East Indian descent was found lying on the northeastern side of the supermarket, motionless with burn marks to the upper part of his entire body.
It is now 12 hours 10. Now for your COVID-19 update. According to Worldometer, the number of worldwide coronavirus cases has reached 112.4 million, with deaths at 2.4 million and recovery cases at 87.9 million. The Ministry of Health yesterday reported the death of another senior citizen, a 63-year-old male from Region 4, as the latest COVID-19 fatality. The death has been recorded as the 190th COVID-19 fatality. 7 new COVID-19 infections were discovered, bringing the total number of cases to 8,427. 8 patients are in the COVID-19 ICU and another 8 are in institutional isolation. That should be institutional quarantine. Meanwhile, 41 are in institutional isolation and 415 in home isolation. Additionally, a total of 7,774 persons have recovered to date.
The U.S. has passed 500,000 COVID-19 deaths, even as new cases are falling sharply across the country and the vaccine efforts cranks up. COVID-19 is likely to be a problem for the next few winters, despite vacation programs, England's chief medical officer said. China responded to CNN's exclusive report on a WHO panel will recommend deeper study of early COVID-19 clues, saying that Chinese experts conducted, and I quote, lots of virus tracking work.
And on that note, we head over to the page 7 of today's Kaieteur News for the blunt comment. This government still thinks it can get away with keeping the Omai, Aurora, Troy, and other extractive industries contracts secret. This newspaper and this newscast will not stand for it. Secrecy must not be the order of the day. Honor the commitments Guyana has made to make the oil and extractive industries transparent now. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I am Kevin Smith.
And I am Kayla King. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio